We have part 3, all right? And I didn't intend on going so long, but this is one of the fun things about being unscripted. And you know what? I'd rather just, go about it this way. And I certainly hope you enjoy it, aside from me always fixing my collar, because it just, I should have had the shirt pressed, and I didn't. And, I still think it looks pretty happening. A buddy of mine, he's Dominican, and he tells me I look like Ricky Martin in it. So, hey, whatever. He's very successful. I give the guy a lot of credit. And I did watch him, believe it or not, on General Hospital. And that's a story for another day. I had a girl that I lived with, and she was really into General Hospital and Days of Our Lives and all this stuff. And I was like, how can you watch this junk? And then, like, I happened to be home, and, I had I was working a later shift, and within like a week, I was just like, oh my God, can you believe so-and-so is hurt? Like, I can't believe this. You get so hooked and drawn into him. But anyways, Ricky Martin, haha, that was my joke. But to stay focused on the fact that, like, that if we're losing our ambition because we're so caught up in the rat race, then something needs to be changed. Much like if you're partying and your partying starts to affect your job, you need to change that, I had someone tell me that way back when I was, around the time when I was acting, a little, around that time. I had someone say to me, like, hey, Kenny, like, this is affecting your job. Like, if you're partying that much that, like, that you can't do your job, then there's something wrong. And I was, like, really grateful for him saying that. It was, like, a good wake-up call. I wasn't doing anything, like, elaborate, like, nothing like heroin, but, I wasn't too far from that. Clubbing was a big thing, and there's a lot of drugs that went with that, and, it definitely enhanced it. We're always searching for, like, more enhancement. And what's funny is that, like, I've reached those same levels and then some without being on drugs. So, am I an anomaly? Maybe. I don't think so, but I get a lot through meditation. I really do. Emerson says the quiet mind is closest to God, and it's so true. I mean, like, I've really reached some incredible levels with meditation, and that's a big thing. Buddha talks about it, like, like, you'll never regret. He doesn't. I'm paraphrasing. I'm way off, but he says, like you'll never regret meditating. Like, you'll always, Yeah, I should know it. I'm sorry I don't. Again, I'm not perfect. None of us are. Okay? And to stand here and have everything memorized and to say everything perfectly would be, a disservice to what I'm trying to accomplish, what I'm trying to relay to you guys. So I've talked quite a bit about this, and granted I've kind of bounced around a little bit, but I think, I'm hoping that these examples will really kind of help you in getting to where you want to be. Like, truthfully, like, isn't it, like, listen, I mean, there's people that just decide, hey, listen, it's raining too much, I'm going to take a plane, or my plane, and these are people that came from nothing, by the way, okay, like nothing, as in, like, their parents worked a regular job, like, they hardly got by. Like, Warren Buffett's one of those people. Oprah Winfrey was someone like that, Anthony Robbins, like Bob Proctor. I mean, he talks about that. I mean, he was like $2,000 in debt, and within a year's time, he made like over $100,000. And this is back in the 70s. And then the following year, he made up to $1 million. So I mean, it's like, it's crazy to realize that, like, the potential that we truly have. It's just what you think, And Anthony Robbins focuses so much. And again, I'm sorry for saying this for like the 10th time, but I can't relay this enough. What you think of influences what you focus on, and what you focus on is what you feel, and what you feel is what you manifest. So if I'm constantly thinking of all the stuff that kept me down, and all the people I let down, and I listen to all the idiots that I hung out with that constantly put me down, or the people that I worked with at various locations, I mean, I'm being hypothetical, then all I'm gonna do, I mean, granted, I've let people down, yes, I have. Like, have I wasted years of my life because of smoking marijuana? Yeah, I did. It was fun at the time. I did it. Hey, whatever. I could look at it and say I lived in the moment. Yeah, that's fine. But you know what? I didn't make it to Hollywood. That was my goal. That was my passion. My goal was to write films and act in them. And you know what? I didn't do it. I didn't meet my mark. So, because, I thought that by using this, it enhanced what I was trying to do. And again, we go to external things to take care of the things that we truly need, that we can truly fix within ourselves without these other things. You don't need the drugs. You don't need the booze for the conference. I had an uncle, funniest guy in the world, but for some reason he thought within his subconscious that he was funny whenever he was drunk. And that's why he drank all the time. And it is what it is. There's a lot of people that feel that because they're so busy That's what makes them so important. You know, there's a lot of people that just become, they absorb their problems and their ailments to the point that it becomes their identity. So that's what I'm trying to say. What you focus on is what you become, really. If you really think about it, that's really what you become. Because like when you wanted to make a team, or you wanted to make a grade, or you wanted to write a paper and get a great grade, or whatever it was that you wanted to do, when you damn well knew that this is what you wanted to do, and you felt it in your heart, and you felt it in your soul, it resonated in everything that you were doing, you found a way to make that a reality. And it's the same thing here. So that's why it's really important to pay attention to who you're hanging out with, to what you're focusing on. Anthony Robbins says it, and I can't agree with him more. What you say about yourself and who you hang out with is who you become. So if you're hanging out with people that are constantly getting high and constantly using or putting you down, then you know what? Get the F rid of them. Like, get them out of your life. Like, run from them like they're the plague. Look at doubt as sin. Look at doubt as poison. Look at it as nuclear waste. Like, really. Look at it as the Ebola virus. Think of it that way. I'm serious. Because that's what happens. Because you let doubt come in, doubt takes shape, and then all we do is we just continue to feed it, and we put more fear into it, and more fear into it, and more stress, and more strain, and more doubt, and before you know it, it becomes this enormous thing that we can't even, that we get so intimidated by, something that we created, that we can't even walk through it. So all I'm trying to say to you is that, like, listen, like, talk to yourself in the mirror. Like, everyone laughs about it. Come on, how many times do you look at yourself in the mirror? Like, do you have any idea how beneficial that is? It is like it is like a true fact. Again, like analytical fact, like documented fact, whatever way you want to look at it. It is true that if you talk to yourself in the mirror and you say nothing but great things about yourself, you become great. Those great things that you tell yourself. That is that true. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's simple things that get us through. It's a simplicity. It's not all the extra stuff you got to buy. And you know what? Listen, everyone thinks, hey, well, every time I buy something, I feel better. Well, yeah, you're doing away, but you're not helping the problem. What you're doing is you're focusing all of the pain that you're dealing with onto something different. But that just goes to show, if you can focus your attention on the pain you're feeling to go out and just have fun, as the way you call it, by shopping, then you can do the same thing with saying, hey, I don't need to feel all this stress and toil and all this pain anymore. Every day is a blank canvas. I agree. Bob Proctor said that. I can't agree with him more. I did it. I literally was living in a life that I did not like. I mean, I was working, I was paying the bills, I was getting through, and you know what? I finally just said, you know what? Enough is enough. I don't want to be this guy. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick and tired of working in an environment. Everyone I work with is just constantly putting me down because I'm thinking outside the box, because I want to do something, because I have dreams, I have aspirations. And understand that, listen, your family and your friends, they may not have that dream. So don't get frustrated. Don't write them off, because you know what? Deep down, if you gave them a lie detector test, they all would want the best for you. It's just they've screwed up when they've tried stuff, and they're just trying to protect you, from failure. But you know what? And again, failure is such a horrible word. Okay, you get results. Okay, I mean, I mentioned this before. It's like of 100 people, 90 of them will give it a try. One time, all right, to go after a goal, right, their dream. And if they fail, which a lot of them do, because I mean, you're doing something that's so outside the norm that it's really difficult to try to figure out. So, and they don't like write manuals on it, whatever your dream is. I mean, I would follow people that have similar dreams and look to see how they made it and where they got to. But okay, so I'm losing sight of where I was, and I'm sorry. So 90% of the people will go after a dream once, okay? And if they get it, if they don't get it, they leave. Like, they just forget it. They leave that thought, they leave that state of mind, and they never go back to it again, okay? Of the 10%, 5% will say, you know what, I'm going to give it one more try, all right? And they go for it again, and they don't get there. And you know what they do? They give up. They don't even tell anyone that they even took a chance to go for the second time around. It's the last 5 guys, the last 5 out of the 100, or 100% of people, or whatever analogy, whatever way you want me to explain it. Whatever works best for you, should I say. It's the last 5% that find a way to make it a reality. So all I'm saying is that, like, yeah, you may not get it right away. You may not get it, you know, you may not get your goal within the next week or two, you know, or overnight, or the next year or two. But listen, if you start to make steps in a direction, you gain momentum. And if you constantly fill your head and your heart with the fact that you can achieve anything, like so many others, like I mentioned before, like Oprah and Warren and Tony, Eckhart Tolle. Here's somebody that wanted to commit suicide, and he had a breakthrough in his most weakest moment. That it's the power of now. When you focus on your breathing, when you focus strictly on the moment, right here, you no longer hear the voices. You no longer hear the doubt. You no longer hear that you're a nobody. You no longer hear that you're going anywhere. Now, I'm just about to 11 minutes, and I'll sum it up in one more minute. So I'm going to go to 12. So all I'm trying to say is that, like, look at, focus on what it is. Better yet, first focus on finding the time for yourself, okay? Because you will find the time. And it may not work right away. But if you keep telling yourself this, it might take a day or two. It might be an extra 5 minutes one day. So be it. Don't get aggravated with yourself and just give up on it, okay? The only borders we have are within our mind. That's Wayne Dyer. All right, that's so true, okay? The only limitations we have are within our mind, okay? Understand that too. All right, like, you hear people that made it on American Idol and made it on The Voice and all this other stuff, and the stories are like just ridiculous about how they just were so determined that they found a way to make it a reality. So focus on finding the time. And then after you finish finding the time, when you have that time, focus on what it is that you really want and what you can do to schedule yourself some more time so that you continue to keep focusing on this. Make sure you write it down. You have to write it down. You have to read it. You got to read it every single day. Every single day. Every day and night. A couple times. They say first thing in the morning and first and last thing before you go to bed. So I do it as many times as I possibly can. So, and like I said, that's me racing around and chasing a very, very busy 3-year-old that I'm so overwhelmingly blessed, thanks to God. Praise God that, like, I literally saw the healing hand of God, like, work to heal my daughter. 6 kids didn't make it, and that's in a place where people are born with half a heart, and their great vessels are inverted, and they do a simple procedure, and that child was expected to play soccer in 2 days. Crazy. So I'm just going to say that, you know, you can do it. All right, like, honestly, like, I covered a lot here. All right, watch it a couple times. Like, I hope it helps you. Like, this is my intention. All right, and it's here. I didn't get this. I didn't get this from anybody. So I'm only doing this because, you know what, I just want to help. It's part of my passion. It's part of my fabric. It's part of what makes me who I am. And also, look at, like, wouldn't we be better? I mean, what the hell is I don't care if people laugh at me about this. I truly don't. Honestly, criticism is cheap. Criticism is very, very cheap, and it's also very ignorant. So for people to kind of judge me, trust me, knowing that I can reach one of you, or a handful of you, or 100,000, or 1 billion of you, that will only make me feel so much better than anything else, like any drink, any high I can even begin to achieve, you know, to try to reach. I don't want that stuff. I don't need that stuff. What I have is already here. We have all the parts we need. It's just a matter of learning how to use some of these. And there's nothing wrong with help. And as far as you guys go, look, we're proud creatures. I get that. It's all part of how we're raised. And I get into that in another segment. But what I want to tell you is this. Ask for help, man. All right? Like, don't be a dummy. Really. You don't want to be that guy that's still nowhere where everyone else has progressed and they've all taken off and they've gone after their passion, and there you are sitting in the bar room drinking your sorrows away because you never decided to ask somebody for help. That is silly. And you know what? You're better than that. So, but anyways, I was one of those people. All right? So, it may feel uncomfortable, but you know what? Do the uncomfortable. You know, learn it. You know? Don't you want everything you possibly have in life? Don't you want to be one of those people that just wants to go and just fly around the world or whatever? You can do anything, especially in this country. But all right, thanks again. God bless. Stay strong. and I'll let you talk to you when I do. Okay? Peace.